Chapter first, Understanding Ecology. Topic number 1.1, Concept of Ecology and Environment. Ecology can be defined as a scientific study of interaction of organisms with their physical environment and with each other. The term ecology is derived from the Greek word okos, meaning house, combined with the logy, meaning the science of the study. Literally, ecology study of the earth as the household of plants, human beings, animal, and microorganisms. They are live together as interdependent component. The term ecology was first used by German geologist Ernst Haeckel in 1869. An ecosystem is defined as a community of a life form in concurrence with non-living components interacting with each other. The term ecosystem was coined by the author Tensley in 1935. The environment is the sum of the total of the all conditions and influence that affect the development and the life of the organism on earth. Thus, it is can be said as one's surrounding. Ecology, the study of the relationship of individual species with the environment. Syncology, the study of plant communities in relation to their habitat in the given ecosystem. Guiana hypothesis. This referred to a scientific hypothesis which stated that the Earth is a complex living entity and their inorganic surroundings. For instance, climate conditions depend on the interaction among the living organism, the human being, and their non-living atmosphere all of which regulate each constantly. The Gia's hypothesis is named after the mythological uh, goddess Gia, who personified the earth. It was the first proposed by the British scientist James Lovelock in his 1972 paper Geas as seen through the atmosphere. Topic number 1.2, Level of organization of ecology. The seven major ecological level of organization are organisms. They make the basic unit of ecology at each level. The biological unit has the specific structure and function at this level. The form of physiological behavior, distribution, and adaptation in relation to the environment condition are studied. Population in ecology. A population is a group of individuals of the same species inhabitate the same area and the functioning as the biological community. Biological community, the biotic community organization result from the interdependence and interaction among the population of different species in the habitat. This is an assemblage of the population of plant and animal, bacteria and fungi that live in area and interaction with each other. You will read about different type of interaction in detail further in this chapter. In topic 1.9, biotic interaction. Ecosystem. The ecosystem are the part of the nature where the living organisms interact among the amongst themselves and with their physical environment. An ecosystem is composed of biotic community integrated with its physical environment through the exchange of energy of recycling of the nutrients. Ecosystem can be recognized as a self-regulating and self-sustaining unit of landscape. Example, pond of or a forest. A landscape is a unit of land with natural boundaries having a mosaic of the patches, which generally represent different ecosystem. Biome. This is generally regional unit characterized by a major vegetation type and associated fauna found in the specific climate zone. The biome include all the associated development and modified communities occurring within the same climate region. Example for forest biome, grassland, and the savanna biome, desert biome, etc. On the global scale, all the Earth's terrestrial biomes and aquatic system constitute the biosphere. You can read, sorry, biotic potential, the maximum rate at which the population can increase when resources are ultimate and environment conditions are ideal is termed the population biotic potential. Each species will have the different biotic potential due to the variation in the species reduction span, how long an individual is capable for reproducing, the frequency of reproduction, how often an individual can reproduce, little size, litter size, how many offspring are born each time, survival rate, how many offspring survive to reproductive age, carrying capacity for the given period, for a given region, carrying capacity is the maximum number of individual of giving species that an area's resources can sustain indefinitely without significantly depleting or degrading those resources. Biosphere is a part of the earth where life can exist. It represents a highly integrated and interaction zone comprising at the atmosphere, hydrosphere, and lithosphere. Land biomes are the ecosystem. Biomes are the ecosystem of two different ecological concept. All through these closely related to each other. They are different from each other. First, biome and ecosystem. It is a large area of land with distant climate and plant and animal species. It is a large geographical area. It is greatly influenced by the climatic factor such as snow, ice, rainfall, temperature, etc. It is a large category of the ecological unit. It contain multiple ecological systems within it. As a biome, it collects of species. It has the greatly diversified of plant and animal species. Some of the common example biomes including desert, tundra, grassland, and tropical forest. Latitude has a great influence on the biomes. All the animals of the biome may not interact with each other. Ecosystem. It is an interaction of abiotic and the biotic component between each other in the given area. It is a small geographical area. It is not much influenced by climatic factor like snow, ice, snowfall, ice, temperature, etc. It is a part of biome made of the biotic and abiotic factors. An ecosystem can less diverse of the plant and animal species than that of the biome as it the smaller size. Some common example include coral reef, ponds, Gulf of Mexico, etc. An ecosystem is not affected by the latitude. All the animal organism of an ecosystem interact with each other. Important terms: ecotone. Ecotone. An ecotone is a zone of the junction of a transition area between two biomes, diverse ecosystem. Ecotone is a zone where two communities meet and integrate. For example, the mangrove forest represent an ecotone where between marine and the terrestrial ecosystem. For other example are grassland between forest and desert, estuary between freshwater and the salt water, and the river bank of the marshland between dry and wet. Eco Ecosline is a zone of the gradual but the continuous change from one ecosystem to another when there is no sub boundary between the two in terms of species composition. Ecoline occur across the environment gradient, gradual change in abiotic factors such as altitude, temperature, thermoline, salinity, halocene, depth, etc. Edge species edge effect refer to the changes in the population or the community structure that occur at a boundary of the two habitats ecotone. Sometimes the number of the species and the population density of the sum of the species in ecotone is much greater than either community. This is called the edge effect. The organism which occur primarily of the most evidently in the zone is known as edge species. In the terrestrial ecosystem, edge effect is especially applicable to the world. For example, the density of the world is greater in the ecotone between the forest and the desert. Ecological niche. The niche referred to the niche referred to the unique function unique function, role and position of the species in its habitat or ecosystem. The functional characteristic of a species in its habitat, it referred to as a niche, is that in that common habitat in nature many species occupy the same habitat but they perform different functions. Habitat niche, where it live. Food niche, what is eat to or decompose and what species it computes with. Reproductive niche, how and when it reproduces. Physical and the chemical niche, temperature, landscape, land slope, humidity and another requirement. And a niche play is an important role in the conservation of the organism. If we have to conserve the species uh, in its native habitat, we should have knowledge about the niche requirement of the species. Topic number 1.3, function of an ecosystem. Ecosystem are the complex dynamic system. They perform following functions. First, energy flow through the food chain. Second, nutrient cycle, biochemical cycle, ecological succession or ecological development. Fourth, ecostatics or the cybernetics or feed control mechanism. Ponds, lakes, meadows, marshland, grassland, desert, and forest are the example of natural ecosystem. Many of you have seen an aquarium, a garden, or a lawn etc. in your neighbor. In these are man-made ecosystem. Topic number 1.4, energy flow in ecosystem. The cycle of energy is based on the flow of energy through different tropic level in an ecosystem. Ecosystem is mechanism maintained by the cycling energy and nutrition obtained from the different external sources. Sun is the primary source of energy of all ecosystem on Earth. Of the incident solar radiation, less than 50% of its photosynthetically active radiation par par designates the spectral range waveband or the solar radiation from 400 to 700 nanometer that photosynthesis organisms are able to use in the process of photosynthesis. Plant capture only 2 to 10% of the pen, and the small amount of the energy sustains the entire living bird. The energy of the sunlight fixed in a food production by green plant is passed through the ecosystem by the food chain and the web from the one tropic level to the next. In this way, energy flow through the ecosystem. Tropic level. The tropical level of an organism is the position it occupies in a food chain. The tropic level is the number of the steps an organism is from a start of a chain. A given organism may occupy more than one tropic level simultaneously. One must remember that the tropic level represents the function level, not a species as such. A given species many may occupy more than one tropic level at the same ecosystem. At the same time, for the example, a sparrow is a primary consumer when it eats the seeds, fruit, pear, and secondary consumer when it eats insect and worm. At the first tropic level, primary producer use solar energy to produce organic matter through photosynthesis. The herbivores are the second Herbivores are the second tropic level. Use the plant as a font which gives them energy. A large part of energy is used up for the metabolic function of these animals, such as breathing, digesting food, supporting growth of the tissue, maintaining blood circulation, and body temperature. The carnivores at the next tropic level feed on the herbivores and drive energy for the substance and the growth sustenance and the growth at large. Predators are the present. They represent still higher tropic level and they feed on carnivores to get energy. Topic number 1.5: Food chain definition. The order to of the living organism in a community in which one organism consume other and it is itself consumed by another organism to transfer of energy is called a food chain. Food chain is also defined as a chain of organisms existing in the any natural community through which energy is transferred. Every living being, irrespective of their size and habitat, from the tiniest algae to the giant blue whale, need to survive. I just tell about some uh, food chains like corn eaten by rat and rat is eaten by owl. Carrot eaten by rabbit and rabbit is eaten by fox and he is eaten by a lion. The type of food chain is structured differently for different species in different ecosystems. Each food chain is a vital pathway for energy and nutrition to follow through the ecosystem. Topic number 1.5.2: Types of the food chain. There are two types of food chain. First, grazing food chain being the autotrophic in this energy and nutrition move from plant to the herbivores consuming them and to the carnivorous or omnivorous preying upon the herbivores. Dietary food chain. The beginning with the dead organism matter in a detailed food chain. Dead organic matter of the plant and animal is broken down by the decomposition. Example: bacteria and fungi moves to the dactyvoraous and then carnivorous. Topic number 1.6, food web. The word web means the network food, which web can be defined as the network of interconnected food chains so as to form a number of feeding relationship amongst the different organisms of biotic community. A food chain cannot stand isolated in an ecosystem. The same food resources may be part of the more than one chain. This is possible when the resources is at the lower trophic level. A food web comprises at the food chain in a single ecosystem. It is essential to know that each living thing is an ecosystem is a part of the multiple food chains as illustrated. A single food chain is a single possible path that energy and nutrition are may make while passing through the ecosystem. All the interconnecting and overlapping food chain in the ecosystem make up the food web. The food web are the significant tool in understanding the plant are foundation of all ecosystem and the food chain sustain life by providing nourishment and oxygen needed for the survival and reproduction. The food web provides stability to the ecosystem. 10% rule. The important point to note is that the amount of energy decreases as the successive tropics levels. That number of the tropic level in the grazing food chain is restricted as if the transfer of the energy follow 10% of the law. Only 10% of the energy is transferred to the each tropic level from the lower tropic level. टॉपिक नंबर 1.7, इकोलॉजिकल पिरामिड। इसका सब टॉपिक है टॉपिक नंबर 1.7.1, डेफिनीशन। इकोलॉजिकल पिरामिड इज graphical representation of between the different organisms in an ecosystem. Each of the bars that make up the pyramid represent a different trophic level and their order, which is based on the who eat whom, represent the flow of energy. Topic number 1.7.2, types of ecological pyramid. Pyramid of the of biomes. As the name suggested, the biomes pyramid shows up the amount of the biomes amount of biomes living or organic matter present in an organism present per unit area at each tropic level. It is drawn with the producers at the base and the top carnivores at the top. Pyramid are of biomes is generally trained by the gathering. All organisms occupy each tropic level separately and measure their dry weight. Each tropic level has a certain mass of living material as at a particular time called standing crop, which is measured as a mass of the living organism, a biomass, or the number in a unit area. Upright pyramid of the biomes. Ecosystem fund on the land mostly have pyramid of biomes with large base of the primary producer with a smaller tropic level perched on which on top. Hence the upright pyramid of the biomass. The biomass of the autotroph producers is at a maximum. Biomass of the next trophic level I primary consumers is less than the structure. Similar, the other consumers with the as a secondary and terrestrial consumer are comparatively less than the lower level respective. The top of the pyramid has very much less amount of biomass. Inverted pyramid of biomass. On the other hand, a reverse pyramid structure is founded in most aquatic ecosystem. Are the pyramid of the biomes may assume that the inverted patterns. Assume an inverted pattern. This is because in water body the producers the are tiny prokaryotes tons that grow and produce rapidly in the condition the pyramid biomes has a small base with the producers become base providing support to the consumers biomass of large weight hence it assumes an inverted shape pyramid of numbers. It is the graphical representation of the number of the individual per unit area of various tropic levels. Levels numbers large number of the producers used to form the basic, whereas the lowering number of the top predators are carnivorous. Uh, Carnivorous occupies the top. The slope of the pyramid of the unknown vary from the ecosystem to ecosystem. For example, in in an aquatic ecosystem or grassland area, autotroph or the producer are the present in the area a large number per unit area. The producers support a lesser number of the herbivores, which in turn support fewer carnivores. Upright pyramid of the numbers. In of numbers, the number of the individual decrease from the base's lower level to the higher level. This type of pyramid is usually found in the grassland ecosystem and the pond ecosystem. The grass in the grassland ecosystem occupies the lowest tropical level because of the abundance. Inverted pyramid of the numbers. Here the number of the individuals increase from the lower level to the higher tropics level. For example, tree ecology. Pyramid of energy. It is graphically structured, represent the flow of the energy through the each tropic a level of the food chain other at a fixed part of the natural environment. An energy pyramid represents the amount of energy at the each tropic level and the loss of energy at each is transferred to another tropic level. Energy pyramid is sometimes called the tropic pyramid. Ecological pyramid. It is used in qualifying and the energy transfer from one person to another along the food chain. Energy decrease as one through at the tropic level from the bottom to the top of the pyramid. Thus, the energy pyramid is always upward. Topic number 1.8 and its definition. Ecological productivity refer to the primary fixation of the solar by plant and the sequential use of that fixed energy by plant eating herbivorous and animal eating carnivorous and detritivores that feed upon the dead biomass. Ecologists refer to the productivity of the green plant as a primary productivity. Gross primary production, a total amount of the energy that is given that is fixed by plant, while the net primary productivity is smaller because it is adjusted for energy losses required to support plant respire. If The net primary productivity of a green plant is an ecosystem positive than the biomass of the vegetation of the increasing same time. Topic number gross primary productivity is equal to net and primary productivity पढ़ी है कि नहीं पढ़ी है plus energy loss due to respiration. Gross and the secondary production refer to the herbivorous animal, while the territory productivities refer to the carnivorous. Different types of carnivorous, sorry, different productivity of various ecosystems because of the different in the availability of the solar radiation, water, and the nutrients. The world's ecosystem very differ greatly in their ecological productivity. Other of the productivity types of ecosystems, estuaries, swamps, and marshes, tropical rainforest, temperate rainforest, northern coniferous forest, taigas, savannas, agriculture, woodland and the woodland and Suruvad, sorry, Sorabland, shrubland, temperature, grassland, lake, and the strong continental cells, tundra, Arctic, or and alpine, upper desert, Remax desert. Topic number 1.9 biological interaction. There are the manner in which the species interact with each other. These interaction can be interspecific interaction with the different species or intra-specific interaction with the same kind of same species. Types of biotic interaction in the found in food web. Zero is no effect, minus is determination detrimental, and positive is beneficial. Types of interactions, species 1 2, effect components, negative interaction, amnesialism, minus 0. One species is inhabited while the other species is unaffected. Comments: the bread mold fungi Penicillium produce a penicillin, an antibiotic substance which inhibits the growth of the variety of bacteria. A large type of the shade of a small plant regarding retarding the growth of the small plant. A small plant has no effect on the large tree. Predation plus minus. One species predators benefit while the second species prey is harmed and inhibited. Predators like leopard, tiger, and cheetah are speed, teeth, and the claws to hunt and kill their prey. Predators help to maintain species diversity in a community by the reducing the intensity of the consumption along the competition prey species competing species. Parasitism plus minus, beneficial to one species parasite and the harmful to the other species host. Parasitism involves the parasite living to another living species called the host. The parasite get its nourishment and often shelter from its host. Tapeworm, roundworm material parasite. Many bacterial, fungi, and the viruses are the common parasite for a human. The female mosquito is not considered as a parasite, although it need to our body for the reproduction because it does not live on the host. Competition minus minus. adversely affected both species. Competition occur when the two population or the species both need a vital reaction that is in the short supply. Woodpeckers and squirrels often compete for the nesting right in the same hole and species in the trees, while the lions and the cheetahs of the Africa savanna compete to the same antelope and the gray prey. Possible active associations, communalisms plus zero. One species the commercial benefits, while the other species the host is neither harmed nor inhabited. Sukri fish often attaches to a shark. This help in sukri fish get protected a free ride as well as a meal from the leftover of the shark's meal. The shark does not, however, get any benefit, not nor is it adversely affected by the association. Another example of communalisms is the relationship between the trees and the apathetic plant. Mutualism plus interaction is favorable to the both species. See anemone get attached to the shell of the helmet crab for the benefit of the transport, and obtain new food, while the anemone provide flag and protection, utilizing its strength set to the helmet crab. Some mutualism is so intimate that they are interacting species can go on longer live without each other, as they depend on totally on each other to survive. Such associations are called the symbiosis. Symbiosis is intense mutualism. Example coral and the zooxanthellae. Neutral interaction, neutralism, 0 0. Neutralism, neither species affects the other. True neutralism is an extreme unlikely. Topic number 1.10. Ecological succession. Ecological succession is a process which is the structure of the biological community evolve over time. Topic number 1.10.1. Types of succession. First, primary succession. It occurs in essentially lifeless areas, region in which the soil is incapable of sustaining life. As a result, such factor of lava flow nearly formed and sand dunes of the rock come from the referring or the glaciers. Secondary succession, it occurs in area where the community that previously existed has been removed. It is typified by the smaller scale disturbance that do not estimate all its and nutrition from the environment. Ecological terminology is developed. Stages of the community are known as strigal stacks, and the final stage stacks as a complex community. Entire series of the communities that characteristic of the given site called the series. Other prominent type of the ecological succession. First, autotrophic succession. Autotrophic succession is characterized by the early continued dominance of the sorry autotrophic organism like a green plant. It begins in a predominantly inorganic environment, and the energy flow is maintained indefinitely. Allogenic succession. In allogenic succession, the replacement of the existing community is caused by largely by the any other external condition and not by existing organism. Autogenic succession refers to that type when the community itself as a result on its reaching with the environment modify its own environment and thus causing its own replacement of the by the new community. Hydrological succession, plant succession starting on relatively shallow waters such as a pond and the lakes and the communication in a mature forest. Research succession, plant succession starting to bear ground on rock and circulation is the mature climate forest. The perennial species such as lichen and the mosses uh, result in the gradual accumulation of all. Topic number 1.11 biochemical cycles. All elements in the earth are recycled time and again. The major elements such as the carbon, oxygen, carbon, nitrogen, phosphorus, and sulfur are essential ingredient to make up organism. Biochemical cycles refer to the flow of the sugar. Such chemicals element are component between organism and the physical environmental chemical article in the chapter. Chemical taken in why the organism are passed through the food chain which come back to the soil, air and the water through mechanism such as respiration, excretion and decomposition. Biochemical cycle can be either gaseous, which are the reservoir pool is the same atmosphere of the sedimentary terrestrial pool of the earth. Gaseous biochemical cycles, carbon cycle, nitrogen cycle, water cycle, oxygen cycle. Sedimentary biochemical cycles, phosphorus cycles, or sulfur cycle. Topic number 1.11.1, carbon cycle. Carbon enters into living world in the form of carbon dioxide through the process of the photosynthesis as carbohydrates. These organic compound food are then passed from the producers to the consumers. Herbivorous, carnivorous. This carbon is finally returned to the surrounding medium by the process of the respiration or decomposition of plant and the animal by decomposers. Carbon is also recycled during the burning of the fossil fuel. Topic number 1.11.2, nitrogen cycle. Nitrogen is present in the atmosphere. The element, form and as such it cannot utilized by the living organism. These elemental forms of the nitrogen is converted into combined state with elements such as HCO by the certain bacteria so that it can be easily used by the plant. Nitrogen fixing bacteria. Some bacteria can nitrogen in an ammonia by the process is known as nitrogen fixation. Example, uh, uh, एल्थोबैक्टीरिया एजिया etc। और ये मैं टॉपिक पढ़ा था, टॉपिक नंबर 1.11.2 नाइट्रोजन साइकिल पढ़ा था मैं। Nitrogen is being continuously expelled into the air by the fraction of the microorganisms such as the denitrifying bacteria, and finally return to the cycle through the action of the lightning and the electrification. Water cycle: the evaporation of the water from the ocean, river, lakes, and the transferring a plant takes the water in the form of vapor up the atmosphere. The evaporated water subsequently cool by and condensate to form cloud and water. This cooled water vapor utilized return of the earth as a rain and snow, completing the cycle. Oxygen cycle: the oxygen cycle is a cycle that helps to move the oxygen of the three main regions of the earth: the atmosphere, the biosphere, and the lithosphere. The atmosphere is of the course the region of the gas that lies above the earth's surface, and it is the one of the largest reservoir of the free oxygen on earth. The biosphere is the sum of the all ecosystem. This also has some free oxygen produced from the photosynthesis and the other life processes. The large reservoir of the oxygen is the lithosphere. Most of the oxygen is not on it of the free or moving, but a part of the chemical compounds such as silicates and oxides. Sulfur cycle. Sulfur occur in all living matter as a component of the certain amino acid. It is abundant in the soil to protein, and through the series of microbial transferable and of the sulfate are usable by the plant. Sulfur containing proteins are degenerate into their constituent amino acid by the action of the variety of the soil organism. The sulfur of the amino acid is converted to the hydrogen sulfate H2S by another series of the soil microbes. In the presence of the oxygen, H2S is converted to sulfur and then into sulfate by the sulfur bacteria. Eventually the sulfate become H2S. Phosphorus cycle. These use phosphorus cycle begin when it rains. Phosphorus are the removal from the rock via weathering are the disturbed by throughout the both the soil and the water. Plant take up the phosphate ions from the soil. The phosphate then the moves from to the plant to animal. When herbivorous eat the plant and the carnivorous eat plant or herbivorous, the phosphate absorbed by animal tissue through consumption eventually return to the soil through the excretion of urea of the feces, as well as from the final decomposition of plant and animal after death. In aquatic ecosystem, the same process occurs within the aquatic ecosystem. Phosphorus is not highly soluble in water, thus wind slightly molecule in the soil. Therefore, the mostly reaches water by the reaching traveling with the round of the soil particles. Phosphate also enter a waterway through the fertilizer runoff, seepage, natural mineral deposit, and the wastage from the industrial process. These phosphates they tend to settle on the ocean floor and the lake bottom. The as sediment are the stirred up, phosphate may re-enter the phosphorus cycle. Water plants take up the water-borne phosphate, which then travel to the through successive stages of the aquatic food chain. Topic number 1.12, ecosystem services. Ecosystem services are the benefits people obtain from the ecosystem. This include the provision, regulating, and cultural services that directly affected people and supporting services needed to the maintain the other services. The Millennium Ecological Assessment MA was initiated in 2001, the United Nations, the objective ecosystem, the objective कहाँ लिखा है इसका The objective of the MA was to assess the consequences of the ecosystem changes for the human being the scientific basis of the action needed to enhance the conservation and sustainable use of those systems and their contribution to human well-being. Ecological services first, providing services, regulating services, cultural services, provisional services, the product obtained from the ecosystem, food fibers, ornamental medicine, biofuels, freshwater, genetic resources, and regulating services. Benefit obtaining from the regulating of ecological process, climate regulation, flood prevention, erosion control, and pest control, pollination, speed dispersal, disease regulation, cultural services, non non-material benefit obtained from the ecosystem, educational, recreational sense of the peace, spiritual cognition development, and stream relief and gardening. Example of some plant reservoirs: medicinal herb chamomile, echinacea, feverfew, garlic, ginseng, gold seal, vetiver, etc. Fiber yielding plant: Himalayans, nettle, sesame, hemp, jute, cotton, etc. Natural capital: it includes those elements of the nature and that provide valuable goods and services to the human, such as the stock of the forest, food chain, air, water, and land minerals, etc. It incorporated a broad perspective on the set of the services provided by ecosystem asset. It is essential to economic growth, employment, and ultimately prosperity. Natural capital accounting or environmental economic accounting. It is a tool for can help to gain understanding of the interaction between the ecology, economy, and the environment. It can be used by the measure the state of the ecosystem flow of the ecosystem services, as well as the changes in the stock and the flow of natural resources in relation to the economic changes. System of environmental economic accounting, SEEA. It is a statistical system on that bring together economic and environmental information in the common framework to measure the condition of the environment, the contribution of this of the environment of the economy and the interact of the economy of the on the environment. Natural capital accounting and valuable economic services. The United Nations Statistics Division, UNEP, the Secretariat of the Convention on the Biological Diversity, and the European Union have launched this project. The primary object of the project is funded by the European Union, aimed to the assets five participating countries: Brazil, China, India, Mexico, and South Africa, to advance the knowledge agenda on the environmental and ecological accounting. The project review policy, demand data availability, and measurement practices in order to advance the mainstream natural capital accounting. An initial pilot ecosystem account in case of the five statistic partners: the economic of the environmental and biodiversity, TEEB. In the 2007, G8 plus 5 countries proposed to initiate the process of the analyzing the global economic benefit of the biological diversity, the cost of the loss of the biodiversity, and the failure to take protective measures versus the cost of the effective conservation. It response to this global study was conducted by the Germany and the European communities under Pawan Sukhdev, which leads the establishment of the TEEB. Based on Geneva, Switzerland, as the International Environmental House, the TEEB office is hosted by the UNEP. TEEB is a global initiative focus of making nature's valuable visual. Is the principal objective is used to mainstream of the value biodiversity and ecosystem services into decision making at all level. In October 2010, it released a report mainstreaming the economist on nature, a synthesis of the approaches, conclusion, recommendation of the TEEB, and a launched the Bank of the Natural Capital to accommodate and its finding at the general public. It guided by the three core principles: recognition, value, and ecosystem can sometimes ensure conservation and sustainable use. The existence of the skilled groups in some culture help protect the natural area and the biodiversity they contain. Demonstrating value in economic terms is often useful for policy making and the other such businesses in reaching decisions that contain the full cost and benefit of the ecosystem. Example by the including the cost and the beneficial of conversing the ecosystem services provided by the wetlands in the controlling flood compared to the building blocks of the defense. Capturing values involved in the introduction of the mechanism that incorporate the value of the ecosystem also into decision making through initiative and the price signals. They can include the payment of the ecosystem services, reform environmentally harmful subsidies, or for introducing IPBE's global initiative reports the intergovernmental social policy platform or on biodiversity and ecosystem services. IPBES is an independent intergovernmental body establishment in 2012 with now over 113 member states around the world. The report by the Intergovernmental Science Policies Platform on the Biodiversity and Ecosystem Services IPBES is the most comprehensive scientific evolution ever made of the state of our nature and give detailed account of the heart of the species that inhabited the earth and the condition of the habitat that they live in dependent upon it. It is the first intergovernmental report of its kind and built on the landmark Millennium Ecosystem assessment of the 2005, introducing the innovative way of the evaluating evidence. This report concluded that the second fastest mass extinction extent is planetary history underway. The current rate of the extinction is 100 to 1000 times greater than the historical background rates. Over 1 million species are at the risk and extinction with the most fear of the decades. The report highlighted the important indigenous community is the in conservation in if not nature of managed by the indigenous people and the local commission under the increasing pressure, but it generally declining less rapidly than the other land. This is significantly since at least a quarter of our world's land area is traditionally owned by managed and the occupied by the indigenous peoples. And here our first chapter is completed now. I hope that आप लोगों को समझ में आया हो चैप्टर ये। और हम लोग अब अगले जो चैप्टर है हम लोग का वो अगला जो चैप्टर होने वाला है वो कौन सा होगा हम लोग वो और देख लेंगे। तो जो हमारा अगला चैप्टर होगा उसका नाम क्या है? चैप्टर नंबर सेकेंड, टाइप्स ऑफ इकोसिस्टम। तो आई थिंक इकोसिस्टम आप लोगों को समझ में आया होगा कि कैसे कैसे कुछ जीव एक साथ रहते हैं, एक उनका एक सराउंडिंग बन जाती है, तो इकोसिस्टम हो गया। जैसे कि मान चलो अगर हम लोग बात कर रहे थे क्या, कि जो इकोसिस्टम तो एक तालाब के अंदर ही मान सकते हैं कि एक फ्लो ऑफ इंटरडिपेंडेंस बन गया, कि एक कुछ प्लांट एक दूसरे पर इंटरडिपेंडेंट हैं और तभी इन दोनों का काम चल रहा है। जैसे हम लोग बात करें एक तालाब की, तालाब में ऐसा ही सीन बनता है ना, कि बहुत सारे जीव एक साथ रहते हैं और एक दूसरे पर इंडिपेंडेंट रहे होते हैं। जैसे बड़ी मछली की, छोटी मछली बड़ी मछली का खाना होती है, अगर वो नहीं होगी तो बड़ी मछली खा ही नहीं पाएगी। तो अब इस प्रकार हम लोग समझ सकते हैं कि एक दूसरे पर डिपेंडेंट रहना कितना ज़रूरी होता है। और यही हमारा चैप्टर फर्स्ट खत्म होता है। और